Hi everyone, I'm Laura Papetti and thanks for being with us on KREM News at noon. We're just getting in some new information that it looks like kids may be returning in person for school in the fall. This is just coming in from the Superintendent of Public Instruction for Washington State. So new this morning, to meet State Department of Health guidelines, some schools may reopen with a hybrid of face-to-face or online instruction, but all school districts must have an alternative plan to return fully online, just in case. All students and staff will be required to wear cloth coverings while at school, K through 12th grade. Schools will also have to check of signs of illness among students and staff upon entry into the building. But again, this new information coming in that it looks like it may be in-person schooling in the fall, but so much information still needs to be answered and gone through, like how they will test and how that will work and how long online backup may affect the kids as well. So we'll continue with this coverage on KREM.com and of course coming up tonight at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. Also, just a couple of hours ago, Idaho Governor Brad Little announced that Idaho will indeed be moving on to phase 4, and that's coming up this Saturday. So we're talking about just in a couple of days. So what does this phase 4 actually mean? Places like bars and restaurants not open during the previous phases can now open. They must all still limit occupancy and keep tables spread at least 6 feet apart, so social distancing still in place. Bars also should prohibit counter and bar ordering and have drinks and food served directly to the table. Pools can also reopen in this phase, again with proper social distancing measures put in place. Visitors can now to senior living communities and jails can also resume as well. Again, that is for phase 4. Now, during phase 3 of Idaho's reopening, it was unclear if Spokane residents could travel to Idaho. Previously, out-of-state visitors with high community spread of the coronavirus were encouraged to self-quarantine for 14 days. Stage 4 of Idaho Rebounds Plan does not mention the 14-day quarantine to any out-of-state visitors. Despite many states reopening, unemployment, however, is still at an all-time high. Americans filed 1.5 million unemployment claims. That was last week, even as many people returned to work. Last week's numbers pushed the total amount of people who have filed for unemployment to a staggering 43 million people. And again, those numbers coming in each Thursday for us to update. We also have the very latest of coronavirus cases in Spokane County today, and there is some good news. Only 5 new cases of the virus have been reported today. That's according to Spokane Regional Health District. This is the first time we've seen single numbers since the beginning of June. So a dramatic decrease. This is a huge improvement from the major spike that we saw last Friday, so less than a week ago, with 55 new cases. As of today, people ages 20 through 29 have seen the most cases, and currently 7 people are hospitalized due to the coronavirus here in this area. The Spokane Public School Board is taking what they hope will be a meaningful step at addressing the issue of racism within the schools. Last night, the board passed a major resolution with a variety of anti-racism reforms that would be unfolding. Those reforms can be broken down into different categories. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. First, resources. The board wants to make sure money, staffing, technology, and attention are divided in a way that's fair for all students. Second would be a look at training. The board is aiming to create anti-racism training programs for all employees and offer them to students and parents as well. Third would be looking at the student experience. That includes expanding multicultural clubs to every school and creating more ways for students to give the district feedback. It also includes changes to the actual curriculum itself. The board hopes these changes will assure every student can gain an understanding of racism, its history, and how it is manifested today in our society.
Students being able to not only see themselves in their lessons every single day, but also being able to dive deep into conversations about why the world is the way it is. You know, we didn't just magically get to this point. You know, there's been a lot of things over the course of time in history that got us here today. So really being able to have truthful, honest conversations around that could go a very long way.
And the final category is discipline. The resolution creates an added level of oversight of any potential extreme forms of discipline, and it aims to work towards ending the practice of district employees like student resource officers arresting students. So again, that's coming in from the school district. A lot going on right now. We encourage you to keep up to date throughout the day on all those breaking stories on KREM.com. In the meantime, something else we're taking a look at this afternoon is the weather. It's a little bit dreary out there. Seeing a few raindrops as well. Evan Ronnie is standing by with a look at the forecast. Hi, Evan.
Hey, Laura. Yeah, it is a little bit rainy in some spots, a little bit cloudy in others, and then some spots are just seeing straight up sunshine. So it really is dependent on where you are. Still, the unsettled weather that we saw throughout the entirety of the week now continues as we near the weekend, or at least as we near your Friday, and as we go beyond that. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast just for today. You can see we've got 70s for the most part over the next couple hours. We could make it to the 80-degree marker. If we get there, that will be a pretty nice warm zone. We haven't been there in a while. And then we cool down quite a bit overnight. Now, as we talked about, the wet weather really dependent on where you are. Satellite radar has shown a good amount of cloud cover, so that's one thing that is almost guaranteed for at least a good portion of the next couple hours. If we pause this at where we are right now, most of those showers are up toward the northern panhandle and through the northeast corner of Washington, as well as through central Washington. So we'll keep track of these showers. We'll also be talking in just a bit about the chance for some thunderstorms later today and into your Friday evening, and details on what the weekend forecast looks like are ahead as well. Laura?
Evan, thank you very much. Okay, let's take a look at some other news going on in the area. Well, of course, June is LGBTQ Pride Month, and over the last few years, Spokane has had a variety of events surrounding that month. But the coronavirus certainly has put a stop to some of the traditional events and the plans that were going to go forward previous to the virus. However, Spokane is still finding ways to celebrate, at least from a distance. Instead of gathering people this month, they are planning some virtual events all week. Spokane's official Pride celebrations won't start until October, when the organization hopes to gather people in person. The Spokane Pavilion is putting on a light show this weekend to celebrate Pride Month on behalf of Spokane. So again, working on some different ways in which they can acknowledge the month and celebrate, and then planning ahead as well. Well, Wendy's, the restaurant, the burger place, is famous for their square patties. People talk about them, know about them, but now they're getting attention for something much less appetizing. We'll talk about that coming up.